He's Tom E. Curran, the Patriots insider for NBC Sports Boston. You want to jump in on this there, Tom?
Yeah, first of all, yeah, they're paying attention. They want to do better than what Tom Brady does, regardless. They might love him individually, but I've been told by folks inside that building, we're going to be watching every week. And gosh darn it, we do not want to end up with fewer wins than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's a check mark. And plus, I think that Belichick would be left in a twitching pool of liquid on the floor if he ever had a 2-win season. I mean, he said that once, Dan, when the Andrew Luck previous to him and the Colts bottomed out after Peyton Manning. Curtis Painter was their quarterback. A couple of years later, Belichick said, you never want to be late on the quarterback position. I mean, we don't want to be the Colts. So, no, I still even wonder, even if they went 2-14, if he'd spend on a quarterback at the top of the draft, because I think that the idea of getting committed to that position at $25, $30 million a year, even down the road, he doesn't love it.
All right. I stand or sit corrected because I would have thought that Belichick cares about the Patriots and, their season, not concerned about what Tom Brady is doing. I don't know if that's a referendum on Belichick. Do you think Belichick thinks whatever Tom does and Tampa does is a referendum on him?
No, not necessarily, but I do think it's almost like it's going to turn into a bird magic thing where they're eyeing each other and checking on each other and paying attention to what each other's box scores are. I don't think it's a coincidence at all, Dan, that yesterday, after the spate of opt-outs, Rob Gronkowski tweets out basically LFG, and then Brady goes, "Indeed, Robert." I mean, it's just not a coincidence.
How many players so far? What are we up to in the opt-out Patriots?
Six of them.
Okay.
Three real key guys.
And then you got the McCourty brothers.
Yes.
Are they going to make a decision soon? It felt like that there might be a question mark for the 32-year-old defensive backs.
Yeah, it's August 3rd is what seems to be the tentative opt-out date. July 28th was the reporting date, and they were going to give it a week, so it's about August 3rd. That hasn't been locked and cemented in stone. I think with Devin and Jason both, they're continuing to mull it. I mean, Devin has lost his secondary mate in Patrick Chung. But the interesting thing about Belichick is he takes a guy and puts his hands on his cheeks and says, "You're my guy. You're the guy who's going to be my sergeant. You're my general, my leader for the next 10 years. And he's done that with Devin McCourty. And I think in doing that, you develop a certain level of commitment from that player. I mean, Devin had a terrible tragedy earlier this summer. He lost a child in childbirth or just before childbirth. He's got multiple kids. I mean, I'm sure that he's got enough money. He's got enough rings. He's got enough fame. He's very active in social justice matters. There's a million things he could do. But I think that the commitment weighs on him too. So it'll be interesting to see which way he goes.
If Brady was still the quarterback there, do you think these players would be opting out?
I asked the same question yesterday. No, I don't. I don't think that would happen. I think that that they would have a much harder time explaining it. Look, Marcus Cannon is a cancer survivor. I think that is on its own planet.
Yeah.
And Hightower and Chung both have newborns, or soon to have newborns. And Brandon Bolden had a health situation too, if I'm not mistaken. But I think when these players look at it, they're like, I've made over $30 million. I have 3 rings. I'm over 30 years old. This seems like it's going to be a bit of a cluster. We're going to sit there in our cars and wait to get into the facility to have our nose swabbed one by one every day. Then after the nose swab, we have to go through this process of getting into the locker room, then into the training room, then onto the practice field for a season that might not happen. And I think that a lot of those players are like, do I want to do that to go in there and go 7-9 with Jarrett Stidham or Cam Newton or whatever we're trying to do? If Brady was there though, Dan, I don't think 7-9 would be in the conversation. So no, I don't think that there would be this many players opting out because they would be championship caliber.
What about Belichick's role in all of this? That I know that he gets maybe too much credit sometimes, maybe sometimes not enough blame, but this situation where you actually have people saying is this a plan by Bill Belichick to tank this season? Do you think that Belichick is capable of doing that?
Yeah, that first germinated with an NFL executive tweeting or texting back and forth with Adam Schefter. And as I said in response to that, this explains why there's so much turnover in the head coaching in the NFL executive ranks every 3 years or so. I mean, you can't be any more staggeringly, ridiculously dumb than that. To think that Bill Belichick would think it's a great idea to lose the linchpin of his defense in Dante Hightower, the right tackle, and then their box safety. That's great. Yeah, let's go out and go 2-14, just like Dan was talking about. I mean, come on. Come on.
He did bench Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl, Tom.
Because he thought he'd win anyway. Honest to God, he thought he would win. I mean, I had someone close to me go, it's not like they're going to go out there and score 40 points on us.
With Nick Foles.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not think Nick Foles was great. They made me put my coffee cup down at the beginning because it was here and they said it was blocking the shot.
Yeah.
But halfway through, I need to take a sip.
Well, they probably had a problem that it says Dunkin' Donuts on it. So we're giving Dunkin' Donuts some love there.
Well, it says Dunkin' because they took the donuts off. But yeah, you're right. All right. How's that?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. By the way, that's a nice hat you got. Is that a cap?
It's a scally cap.
Yeah.
Some people call it a newsboy, I guess, these days.
Yeah. Well, these days or maybe 70 years ago.
You know what, Dan? I don't like the direction of the conversation now. Things are going great. And do you know, I will add to this, the one thing about not being, and training camp is going to be fascinating because they have these 3 different classifications for the media. There's something called 2M. There's going to be 10 slots. Those individuals will have to be tested every day as well to have any indoor access. And even with New England, we might not have direct access. And then there's something called 3OA, which is you never will be in the same room as a Patriots player. And for me, I might not see a rep of the New England Patriots until their first game of the season, because I probably won't be able to get to practice. We'll probably get one person out of practice for our place, which generates a ridiculous amount. I don't know how I started on that. There was a point that I wanted to make. But here I am. I'm not going to see a lot of reps, so I don't have to shower up every day.
Got any Cam Newton updates for me?
They expect him to, I think that they are. Take this, Dan, and I don't have any updates. Would you and the fellas think that the lack of a preseason for Cam Newton can somehow be construed as an advantage for Bill Belichick? I would say that it does, because no one knows what they're going to do with him. No one knows if they're going to start Stidham. No one knows if they're going to start Newton. No one knows what the offense is going to look like. So that's a place where I say the Bill Belichick genius and subterfuge helps.
It's great to talk to you. It's great to see you. And
thanks,
I hope you have a great week and a great life, a great month, great season, all of those.
This isn't goodbye?
For now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I got to resume my regularly scheduled programming because you kind of took us off path here, and then I lost half my audience there when you were telling about not being able to go to the facility.
People are interested in how the nuts and bolts, how the sausage gets made. I defy you to. All right. Talk to you later, buddy.
Tom. That's Tom E. Curran, Patriots insider for NBC Sports.